here playing Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. Not much to say, just gonna jump right on in, back to where I was. So let's get going. During an awkward ride, your dazed and confused mind desperately searches for a glimmer of hope and eventually comes across one. Maybe you'll find the man you met earlier this night. Oh, side note, if you can hear this little background noise that's going on, sounds like a little bit of a hum. I'm recording this video at 7:45 in the morning, and it's already 80 degrees out. So this is a fan I have right next to me, because I'm trying not to overheat. Do you know what happened to the man who brought me here? That's what I'd like to know. As of yet, he is unidentified. They have left no trace, and it's obvious they are not planning to come back for you. If, and that is a big if, you ever see them again, it will be tomorrow, and probably for the last time. What do you mean, for the last time? His face is inscrutable. I said what I said. All I can add for now is, tomorrow is a big night for you. The elevator door opens to an empty hall. You walk outside, past the night guard's post, which is empty. The cold night air reminds you of the balcony just a few hours ago. The man motions to a black Cadillac Escalade. Ooh, going in style. Take a seat in the back, please. Get inside. The man closes the door behind you. You hear a click as it locks. The Cadillac is almost entirely dark. The side windows seem light-proof. The man gets into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without comment. Where are you taking me? A safe place. Forgive me, I'm not in a talkative mood. This won't be a long drive. Patience. Dead silence fills the car. You close your eyelids and sink back into your thoughts. A blurry after image of the man who brought your painting is still there. Strange. Never felt this way about anybody. He makes you happy, even though you have the nagging thought that there is something fundamentally abusive about this attraction. The fact that he's staring at me right here in the rearview mirror is a little disconcerting. But then the girl's hair, spilled over the purple hoodie, and her blood, spilled over the cold floor, come into sharp focus. You wince. You want to cry, but it's as if there were no more tears left in you. After what feels like an eternity, the car comes to a stop. You get out in an underground parking lot. It's an ugly, concrete gray thing. Empty, but for the car you came in. It looks like there's a room behind a metal door in the wall. Guess you live to see another night. Follow me. He opens the metal door and lets you inside. Here we are. These are your lodgings for tonight. If you get hungry, again, take a look in the fridge. Tomorrow I will come pick you up. The cramped room has no windows. It's a simple bed, single light bulb hanging from the ceiling, a small humming fridge, and a rattling AC fan in the wall. It has all the cozinesses of a solitary prison cell. You notice claw marks on the inner side of the entrance door. I'm not going in there. Actually, yes, you are. Listen, normally I lose my nerve right about now and things get nasty, but I get it. You're scared. You don't understand what happened. Trust me, you will learn more tomorrow, but now I need you to rest, and you need to rest. He gestures inside the room. Finding no more willpower to resist, you step inside. The stranger nods contently. Oh boy, that is a crummy room. Good night. He locks the door behind you. It looks very secure and sturdy. You open the fridge. There's a single plastic bag there filled with red liquid, unlabeled. Tomato soup? You feel sick to your stomach. Best leave it for now. You lie down in the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame, kind of grimy and damp. Seeing it makes you grimace, but you're just too tired not to lie down. Your entire body hurts. A dull feeling that makes you feel heavy. You feel vulnerable and lonely. Usually, when that happens, you turn your attention to painting, just to not think about the alternative. Your family upbringing left you with no skills or artistic talent. Creating art used to be something of an unpleasant duty. Somewhere along the line, though, it became the only weapon you had to fight with existential despair. Some of your best work was created in lieu of impotently crying in bed. Hell, you're pretty sure a few of those pieces had your tears mixed in with the paint. Like the painting that led your whole night to this. You look back at your life, and it starts looking like a downward spiral. You are so tired. Your entire body tenses up, and before you know it, you drift away into oblivion. You wake up. That in itself is a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It didn't feel quite like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. You imagine that's how death feels. The room is unchanged, the lamp is still on, AC is still rattling, the refrigerator is still humming. You took a look at your watch. It's almost 9 p.m. You've slept for 17 hours straight. Maybe you died. Your breath is gone and you feel no thumping in your chest. Does that qualify as dead if you're still conscious? You're not sure about that, but you're certain about one thing. You are hungry. It's not your stomach rumbling, though. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. You open the fridge. The bag is still there. You take a closer look at it. If it is soup, and its color and texture are off. You pull the cork out, take a whiff. You recognize the smell immediately. Holy shit. There's no mistaking it. It's bagged blood. The smell is faint, and you remember some situations in the past where you found it nauseating. But now it's almost... No, not almost. It is enticing. Put the bag back or drink the blood. It feels wrong, but right now, There's barely anything in your life that doesn't. To hell with it. You pour a bit of the liquid into your mouth. It tastes bland, reminds you of cheap supermarket juice. Just enough flavor to register as what it claims to be on the box, but nothing like the real thing. Nothing like what you had the last time. So you swallow it. Somehow you don't feel sick. In a weird, messed up way you can't help but think it feels nourishing. You take a few more sips, and then just another one. Suck on the bag a little more. Eventually you find that you've emptied it all. All. Look into the info press inside of the bag. 450 milliliters of it. Even with its blandness, you still feel like having more. You realize your body longs for that intoxicating high you felt when an image of that corpse crosses your mind, causing you to wince. What have you become? You try to piece your thoughts together, make sense of it all, when you hear the lock click and see the door open. Standing there is the well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again, a predatory look, like a hawk on a hunt. Somehow more relaxed tonight. So, like a tame talk, maybe. Good evening. Slept well? He noticed the discarded emptied bag. I see you had a bit of a snack. Was that really? Type RHO+. Not that easy to get. Glad you liked it. Come on, you've got places to be. The car is humming in the empty parking lot just outside the door of the cramped room you had spent the day in. The man motions to it, politely, with a stern look on his face. Okay, lead the way. After you. You take the back seat again. The doors lock. The stranger takes the wheel and starts the car. You drive in silence for a while. From time to time, you keep trying to catch a glimpse of familiar streets or landmarks through the black window, but it's of little use. The car is also soundproofed, so all you hear is a bit of traffic humming in the car's engine. The driver doesn't say anything and seems focused on the road. Really? He's focused on the road? His eyes have not left his mirror. How is he paying to the road when he's staring at me in the mirror? It's kind of creepy. You check the door handle. Yeah, the door's locked all right. The piece of dark glass separating you and the front of the car looks sturdy too. Nothing left to do but wait. You didn't have time to think about it before, but you realize now that you're hungry? No, not exactly. It's not a rumbling stomach that grabs your attention. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. You try to extract some information out of the man behind the wheel, but you realize you prefer to bask in the afterglow of your last meal. You wouldn't have expected it, but you spend the rest of the trip lost in your thoughts. A lot of them concern blood. It takes you another 20 or so minutes to get to your destination. Door open to try to get your bearings. You're still in New York, that much is certain. Queens, maybe. Wait, you know exactly where you are. A nice-looking two-story building has a logo you immediately recognize. The Art Hole, an avant-garde gallery used to hold that collection of bagged viscera and body parts by... You can't quite remember the guy's name. It's Brazilian, you think. Fabio something or other. After me. No sudden movements, please. You've never been inside. Not quite your style, but the place is quite the cult following. You keep racking your brain for more facts, hoping they'll help you with whatever you got into. Two large men in suits flank the door to the gallery on both sides, and they give your companion a nod as you approach. Prompted by the stranger who guides you, you walk inside. The gallery is full, which is unusual at this hour to say the least. About 24 faces fill the showroom, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering, serving drinks. All of them are beneath the guests' attention. The visitors are well dressed for the most part, but it's unclear what they've gathered here for. Nobody seems to be particularly interested in the art pieces on the walls, and the atmosphere is polite, unnaturally so. Many guests turn to look at you and the stranger who brought you here. Their glances are varied. You see open contempt on a few faces and animated interest on others. Most of the eyes in the room calmly observe you, as if wishing to appraise your worth. Memories come back to you like a bad case of PTSD. How many times before had someone judged you, impassively or decisively, through your art? You'd share a piece of yourself with the world, and it'd respond by making you feel like garbage. It always took a lot of effort to not lose your cool and tell all of them to shove their opinions up their collective asses. Now, looking around, it feels like you've become another artwork as commodity to be judged by a bunch of obscenely wealthy, out-of-touch assholes. It makes you want to scream. Good evening, Kadir. And to you, child. The noble, cold voice takes you out of your head and back to the situation at hand. The gallery, a crowd of strangers, you being brought here against your will. For what purpose? The room awaits your response. Good evening, miss. You are addressing the Prince of New York, Helene Panhard, child of Michaela. Thank you, my sheriff, but I am capable of introducing myself. She's somewhat plain-looking and doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still the entire room is intently focused on her. She has influence over these people. That much is clear. You may address me as Prince, child. I realize your introduction to life was abrupt, and I understand your sire left shortly after. The rules of our society dictate I punish you both for this transgression. A murmur of agreement, maybe, can be heard from the gathered audience. But I am willing to listen to what our loyal sheriff has to say about the circumstances of your embrace first. Wait, I'm confused. What are you saying? I think it should all become clear momentarily. You are pushed headfirst into a world you have not realized the existence of. But before you can partake in it, there needs to be a trial. You are about to be judged by the court of New York City. Kadir, please tell us how you found this fledgling and what happened on your way here. Court? Prince? Is this some kind of secret society make-believe? A trusted informant who has chosen to remain anonymous at this time tipped me off about a suspicious kindred appearing in one of our domains. Upon investigating, I found them gone, but this fledgling remained in their place. Interestingly, his sire made use of an older haven of one of the clan of the Rose for the embrace. They were even thoughtful enough to leave a local woman for this fledgling to slake his thirst on. Despite some reservations, he offered little resistance last night and cooperated on our way to the safe house. I was pleased not to have to force his compliance. We had a quick chat, but, wishing to appear here post-haste, I urged him to join me, which he did without struggle. A pleasant departure from my usual routine, I must say. His thirst partially slaked with the back blood we kept in the safe house. We had the pleasant enough drive here. The story ends with us arriving at Elysium tonight. All eyes are on you again. We take a special interest in one of the faces. It's with a beautiful woman with curly, almost blood-red hair and a dress to match. You see her whispering to some bespectacled man with an absent-minded look on his face. Who is she, you wonder? Thank you, Kadir. I take note of this fledgling's behavior and will take into consideration later. She turns her attention to you. First, there is the murder of your sire, the person who brought you where Kadir picked you up from last night. Who were they? He was beautiful, charismatic, charming, dark hair, sort of artistic mess. Had an accent I couldn't recognize. He took notice of my art, bought a piece, in fact. I want to meet him again. The last sentence came out almost involuntarily. You immediately feel ashamed, sounding like a sad puppy whimpering after their master. Yes, you do want to meet that man again. It's an urge deeper than you've ever felt. Maybe even love? No, that's idiotic. He never introduced himself to you. He used you. That asshole just plain used you. For what? Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? No, it does not. Or at least not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. That guy, he bought my painting at the gallery, didn't pay in cash, I think. Maybe you can track him that way? Oh. Did your outlook on him change all of a sudden? He smirks, seemingly enjoying your misery. Personal jabs aside, thank you for that observation. I will investigate this later. What should I do with the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I am ready to fulfill my duty. Stay your hand for just a moment longer, Kadir. I wish to consult my counsel on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement. Of course. He seems strangely relieved. The prince leaves the main showroom, and a handful of people follow her out. You're about to ask this Kadir what all that talk of traditions and councils was, when the red-haired woman approaches the two of you. Sophie. Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. What's for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir. You'll know what the verdict is going to be. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stay on your hands tonight after all. Her words grab his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, hope, gratitude, resolve. I'll go get my sword. He steps out of the room the way you came. You were left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow you. Well then, fledgling, you are in quite the pickle. What do you mean? I still don't understand what my crime is here. Poor thing. This really isn't your fault, but if you want to get out of here in one piece, you need to understand one crucial fact that seems to elude your grasp. Last night, you became a vampire. Wait, what? Oh yes, I am well aware of how ridiculous that sounds. It's the reason why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred, being embraced, having a sire. The fact remains. The beings called vampires? You're looking at them. They're us. You glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale. Really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. No, not wine. That's not the right thickness. And not the right color either. You're trying to come up with something sensible to say, but you're drawing a blank. It makes the morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night, there's no denying it. And your breathing has not returned. Your heart remains still. A vampire. Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice just keeps saying, what the fuck, on repeat. You're surprised. This is often how it plays out by design. Kadir deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you will be cut down as sure as day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance. A way out. Under one condition. I will take you under my wing. If you're lucky, the prince will be in a good mood tonight and your deference to Kadir will work in your favor. She might agree to this, but only if you swear fealty to me. I am not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I will make sure you face the consequences. I don't want to die. Poor thing. You are already dead. Still, it's not as bad as it might feel. I can be your guide to this new reality. You need to take that chance, or perish. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side room. It seems the prince and her consort are returning to the showroom. Kadir appears from downstairs as well and starts walking towards you. When you hear the verdict, ask to be spared. I will intervene. Remember my condition. She flashes the heart-melting smile towards Kadir, who does not smile back. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved, oriental-looking metal scabbard fastened with a colorful sash around his waist. It would look vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating first and foremost. Kadir takes his place next to you and observes as the prince takes center stage again. Loyal kindred of the New York City Camarilla gathered here tonight. I have made my decision regarding this fledgling. She briefly addresses you. I want you to know that this was not an easy decision to make. For your part, you have not done anything to earn our ire. I do feel a genuine sorrow for what must be done. We are all keenly aware that these nights we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and their traditions more than ever before. There is no place for tolerating dissent when our very existence is under constant threat, although I acknowledge some of my council's divergent opinions on this. She takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room before, a rather plainly dressed, shy-looking man, whose skin has a somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference. I hold the final authority over this fledgling's fate, and I declare that while their embrace might be the sire's responsibility, in their absence it is their progeny that must be punished. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently. Kadir? You hear a scraping sound and see that the sheriff has unsheathed his curved sword. It is a beautifully detailed blade which you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes you freeze up. 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th. His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but you. As his eyes meet yours, you notice a hint of sadness in his countenance, when that quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination. And he's out to bat. You will not get another chance to speak up. You make your choice. I don't want to die. Spare me, please. Prince, if I may ask you to stay your sheriff's hand for a while longer. Kadir looks at the prince, awaiting her response. The sword is still hanging above you, threatening to fall at a moment's notice. Is there something you'd like to say, Miss Langley? Yes, if I may. At first, the prince looks somewhat annoyed at the distraction, but she stays quiet for a while, measuring the mood in the room. The board elites suddenly look at you with aroused interest, some of them dismayed at not seeing the bloodshed, but all intrigued by the unexpected twist. The prince nods. Well, let's hear it. Sophie takes a few steps forward. All eyes are on her now, but Kadir's heavy hand on your shoulder makes it clear you won't take advantage of the distraction. My prince, while the traditions are clear, I believe that the proper context should be observed in addition to the letter of our laws. This fledgling is a burden, but with proper guidance, they become an asset to our domain. Am I understand you are volunteering to take this sireless child under your protection? Yes. I happen to think they might hold a potential that would be unfortunate to waste. I do expect their full cooperation, of course. Whiskers can be heard again, an incredulous voice or two. A hushed, just behead the fucker. Some suppressed exclamations of surprise. Silence. I ask all of you to make a note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favor, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until their progeny shall be released, thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that's a responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langley? I am willing to guide this fledgling and a valuable ally to our sect in a time of need, yes. But I would like to receive the right of destruction over them, if it pleases you. Its clear tensions are high. It feels surreal to listen to strangers discussing their death, or second death apparently, and keeping silent. He decides for the best to let Sophie handle this alone and not interject. You have no idea how to handle this eyes wide shut crowd. The prince looks at you as if weighing your worth. She takes another good measure of the room before she speaks again. I shall grant what you ask. Let it be known. Sophie Langley of the Clan of the Rose will become Miss Fledgling's patron. You shall be considered like sire and child. Ms. Langley will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I am to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I expect it to be beneficial to the Camarilla, substantially so. I hope you find this verdict satisfactory, Miss Langley. Of course, Prince. Thank you. Very well. She turns to you. What is your name, child? M, Prince. She nods. Welcome to the Camarilla, M. Now this evening's proved to be even more eventful than I anticipated. But with this fledgling's fate decided, I believe our meeting here can conclude. Thank you all for appearing on such short notice. Give my regard to those who couldn't make it, Kadir. A moment of your time before I let you return to your duties. Of course, Prince. He shoots you a glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. You will be watched. You will be judged. And it need be, you will be punished. The two of them leave the gallery. Well, I think we've both already managed to significantly improve each other's evenings. But let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? I think we should have a toast to a new fruitful partnership. She raises her hand at one of the well-dressed concierges who have now appeared in the showroom to refill the guest glasses. The conventionally handsome man approaches with a carafe of red liquid. He pours into 2 tall glasses. It's blood again, that much is clear. You're in 2 minds about drinking it, but the memory of last night's hunger makes you wince. You take a tentative sip. You expected the same blandness you tasted a few hours ago, but this one you can actually savor. Smoky and warm, making you think of a cozy cabin in the woods. It does strike you as a strange image for your mind to jump to when drinking human blood, but it is what it is. You've never tasted anything like it. Do you like it? I think NYC caterers have very bourgeois ideas about what good blood should taste like. Apologies. You must have so many questions. While we're on the topic, perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. I feel this hunger constantly. How much do I have to drink to make it go away? The sad reality is, it will never go away. No matter how much you drink, you will always be tempted to have more. Unless you consume someone wholly to the last drop, paying for temporary relief with their life. But that is the one-way road to losing your humanity. Best start by taking a single sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood will be more satiating than most anything you serve in a fancy glass, but it can make you more voracious. As to how much you should have, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink, but it's risky, and will tempt the beast that is part of our curse. Tomorrow I shall take you hunting and we will explore this topic further. The blood you're having tonight should be enough to keep you happy for now. You mentioned a beast. That beast you mentioned. Is that a metaphor or... Oh, it's quite real, though not in strictly physical sense. It lives in all of us, on nature and hunger manifest. The more religious among us connected to the biblical Cain, the rage of the first murderer, cursed by God, seething in all his descendants. I, however, am a child of the Enlightenment. Not that it makes my struggle any easier. I have to be very wary like every other kindred in the city and beyond. Individual kindred each have a unique relationship to the beast. What yours is going to be remains to be unseen. But you do need to keep it under control. Each outburst endangers just not you, but also the masquerade. Concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives with a polite smile, and leads him to whisper in her ear. You note that the gallery is now almost empty. I'm being told the gallery is just about to close, but we still have quite a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come. The smile she puts on makes you remember last night's encounter in the showroom. A similar eagerness to spend time with this person overtakes you momentarily, and you follow her outside. Your sixth sense tells you she's an artistic soul, too. You immediately start projecting good qualities onto her. Sophie leads you to a luxurious silver Rolls Royce and invites you to sit in the back. The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately. Why do people stare in rearview mirrors like this? It's kind of creepy. Where did we leave off? I believe I started telling you a bit more about our customs. You've heard the prince refer to our traditions. The chief among them is the masquerade. As you might have gathered from us assembling at a niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings, and doings tend to be somewhat secretive. We do not advertise our existence. We allow myth and modern fiction to morph and muddle the facts, so the vast majority of kind we remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons. Say, is that one television show about a vampire angel still popular? You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little bit more dejected than before. Our clandestine ways help us remain safe, allow us to explain the occasional trip up to the rational mind of 21st century humanity, and dictate much of our interactions with mortals. There has to be some stuff that the books and movies got right, or is all this vampire propaganda? There's a kernel of truth in every myth. Those concerning kindred are no exception. There are mortals who sift through and manage to separate the facts, though it doesn't happen thanks to Hollywood. For one, sunlight burns us. That's why we rest during the day. You felt it. More like being dead than being dormant, isn't it? But we have no choice. We are night dwellers, day sleepers. Some more folk-related threats are just legends or, occasionally, a minor nuisance. Garlic, running water, even religious symbols don't repel us unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly. Stakes through the heart, though, that's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze, which, under the right circumstance, can often be the same thing. That's a reason to have someone like my trusted driver Gregory, making sure you're safe when you drift away. We have many enemies, and they often know their advantages lie with daylight. Sounds like it's vampires versus humans, right? Masters and slaves. Only nobody knows vampires exist, so it's ruling from behind the scenes. Something like that. We've stayed in humanity's shadow for as long as civilization has existed. Anytime the kindred felt too secure, too complacent, we suffered great losses. So we need to keep the kind, even those close to us, under strict control, or forfeit them in favor of other kindred. Our sect offers some safety and camaraderie, but often not enough. Ugh. I would really like to keep playing, but at this point in time, the video is getting on long enough, so I think I'm just going to end it here. Thanks everybody for watching. Please remember to subscribe, hit that like button, leave a comment below. Any relevant links will be in the description. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.